There was a few people asking me about how I made this annealing table and if it was cost effective. So I'm going to show you what I did and how I put it together. First of all, the actual table part. I was going to make something out of wood or metal, but it was so much easier just to buy this shelf kit, which is just a cheap shelf kit from Home Depot. Here it is here. Just a cheap storage shelf kit. I got some parts left over. The legs were actually a little longer than I needed them to be, as you can see there. So I just cut them down. They're just plastic. They were really easy to cut. And I glued them into this bottom piece here with some goop, which works great on all surfaces, even fabric. I like this. And then the top, I got the blade from John Morris. That was about 60 bucks. He sent it to me. I painted it, put the decal on it. The plate here is an 1/8 inch thick aluminum plate, which you kind of need. You need a nice smooth surface that's really flat, and the 1/8 inch aluminum plate works really good. And I just cut it out for where I needed it, and I drilled a 3/8 hole. This is a 3/8 bolt that I got at Home Depot. And then over here there's a hole for the shells to drop down through. And then I just used some goop to glue it to the plastic shelf kit. And here there is a nylon washer with a steel washer. And then underneath, I actually have a wing nut with a lock washer and some more washers. The table actually doesn't turn very fast. It only turns a degree at a time, so I use this to adjust the tension on it so I can make it work better. So while I'm under here, I'll show you the electric motor is the Dayton motor that John Morris used on some of his projects. I got it from Zorro Tools. It was about $50. And then the speed controller for it is a Kit speed controller. I actually got that from Canada. I saw it on one of the forums. It looked like a good one. I didn't know it was going to be as small as it is. It's very, very small. It's only about 3 inches long. It's very small. And then there's a switch, a 12-volt switch, which is just, I got it from AutoZone. It's just a $3 switch. And the power supply, it's right there. I got it from eBay. It was about $8 with free shipping. And the nice thing about this power supply is it has this little adapter piece that goes on here, and it's got these two screwed ends that you can just put the wires right into and attach them to it, because it's just a round little piece like you might find on some other electronics. So the adapter, it was well worth it just to get it with the adapter. And it's a 12 volt. I think it's a 5 amp power supply. And you pull back, you can see the table just as a plastic table. And there's where I put the bolts. They're all thread bolts, really long 3/8 bolts, and a piece of aluminum to kind of brace it down there, because the plastic is actually very brittle. When I was drilling some of these holes through it, the first one I did just broke. So you got to go slow with it and use a sharp bit, or else it'll just break. It's very brittle. But it's easy to work with. It's easy to drill the holes. And these are just some nuts that I got at Home Depot. This is actually an all-thread connector. It's threaded inside on both sides. So this is it has a, let's spin it around here. It has a set screw that I put in it right here. I drilled a hole and tapped for a set screw, and I just stuck it on the shaft of the motor and used a set screw to hold it. And it's a 3/8 inch adapter, so it has 3/8 threads. I used this 3/8 bolt, which is one of the shortest ones I could find. It was still a little long, so I cut some of this aluminum that I got and used it as a spacer. Works real good. It's real tight, real firm. It's not going anywhere. And then I just drilled a hole in the other end with a little bolt. And it works real good for turning the table. Here's a look at the other end of the speed controller. I was able just to fasten it to this little brace that goes underneath here, and then poke this through the hole so I could adjust it. And this turns it on and off right here. And then again, these are small thread pieces. They're real long, and I just have a couple of wing nuts on them, both sides, so I can adjust them up and down and get them tight if I need to with just some washers. And the plate is it's a piece of the aluminum strap that I got to brace it, because the plastic, like I said, is not very strong. And these pieces are a couple of pieces of steel that I got from a local supplier. I had to actually cut them to the length that I needed and tap them out for these screws that I bought at Home Depot. This one I just drilled a hole in it for the torch, the size of the torch, and ran a bolt in there as well. It works really well. Surprisingly, you can turn these with your hand, and they're very, very, very tight, not going anywhere. And you can use a shell casing to run it through and get your torches adjusted, height and distance from here on both sides, so that it gets a good shot. It doesn't turn it or anything. I don't really think you need to do that, because the flames seem like they kind of wrap around it when they go at it, and it heats it up pretty good. And the whole idea is to anneal this top piece here so that it relaxes the molecules in it and it won't crack when you're sizing it. And that's about it. Underneath here is another nylon washer with a steel washer. So basically the nylon washer sandwiches this blade, and like I said, it only turns a degree at a time, so it doesn't really need a lot of bearing surface down there. I did put a little grease on it, and that's it. I think the Zorro motor was about $50. The Annealer controller was about $20. This plate was about $15. This was $60. The shelf was about $20. And then the other various pieces, I can't remember how much they were, but everything with torches came in right around $250. It wasn't very hard to make. I did it with some basic hand tools and a drill, a little bit of glue, and just using my head, and it works fine. I've seen the other ones; they sell for about $400 or $500, and I don't think you need to spend that kind of money for something that is such a simple device. I did it, and it worked just fine. Here, I'll turn it on and show you how it works. All the motor does is turn it a degree at a time, and John Morris gives you a template that gives you the distance between this hole and this one here, which works out pretty well. It turns it just the right degree to get them to the torches and then over to the hole to drop down through. And the motor's really torquey and it has plenty of power to turn this wheel full of shells. So I think it works fantastic. They just drop down into this little pan that I have and cool. I don't have it in any water or anything. I've seen some people doing that, and I don't think it's necessary. You're just relaxing the metal. But I suggest you doing one of your own. And what really got me going was the plastic table I saw somebody else using in one of their videos. It's much cheaper than building something from wood or sheet metal. I mean, this whole kit was $20 for this table, and it does give you 4 of these shelves. So I broke one. I still had, 2 more if I had to break some more, but I got through it. It only took me a few hours to assemble it, and I think it's going to work for years to come. So that's it.